Here's the rack from the deer that I shot, 28 inches. This is kind of a good deer for this because the antlers aren't quite symmetrical at all. Your eyes stick out too far and it looks like your deer got kicked in the nuts. Taxidermy is Bondo and Bondo is taxidermy. Hopefully now you'll have some of the tools that took me years to acquire to mount your own critters. What is up, everybody? Welcome back. This is video 7, earbuds. We're getting close to the end. We're getting close to mounting the deer. These are Bondo ears. You saw that already. I do earbuds with clay. This is how I was taught. I prefer using these rather than like the ones you can just buy and you just set in there. You know, then you just set, oh, ears forward, ears back, ears neutral, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that because I like having the flexibility to make it my own. So I start by peeling back the skin. Be gentle, skin's thin. I peel back the skin on the back side of the ear with my little modeling tool. And then I spray it down with some water mixed with a little bit of fabric softener, just a touch. Get that in there, get it nice and pliable again. Remember, we dried that out a little. And the reason I do that is so you can get the earbud all the way in there, not that clay's there, but then you can transition the skin nicely with a lot more clay. Now I did pre-wet some of my water clay. It was pretty hard. So I'd do about, let's see, I'd split it in half. And you'll know how much you need. You'll know how much you need by how much skin you have. This will kind of fill in, you see what I'm talking about, but it'll, like the circumference in there of the actual earbud, like it's only so big. And you'll know how much to put in as you get going. So I just kind of round a piece out and I jam this in there as far as I can get it. Now a lot of this comes back out as I transition it to the rest of my earbud, but you just got to get some in there, otherwise there's just nothing, and you end up with funky looking ears. I see that a lot too. You don't want funky looking ears, people. Okay, then I kind of grab the end of this and I just kind of stick it around the butt that I had cut out when I was Bondoing ears. So, just kind of transition this a little bit. Make it nice. Then you can pull the skin down a little bit more. Can really get the transition game going on here. I want the transition game strong. If you haven't noticed on this video series, I talk a lot. Sometimes I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm doing this. I don't really play music when I'm working. I just kind of chat to myself because I'm a weirdo like that. Okay. So like I said, then flip this back. Now you got this huge ridge of hair. You can see that terrible looking tuft of hair. That's because that's all clay. But now you have to put the skin into position and just work that clay up into the fabric ear liner and the Bondo that you already have in there. And essentially, I mean, all you're doing is just making sure that it's a smooth transition between the ear liner itself, the Bondo that you put in there, and your earbud. And then your earbud's going to transition nicely to the form. I'll get a little water in there. This is what I was talking about. You'll know how much clay you need by when you close this in there. It shouldn't be tight. It should go in loosely and it should come out loosely. It shouldn't be tight. If it's tight, you have too much. If it's too loose, you have too little and you need to add more. It's easier for me to hold this with my, do this with my right hand. I can feel, you can see the transition happening as I'm doing this. Everything is really coming along nicely, and there's no missing gaps of clay. Just a nice smooth edge. And it should be a top straight edge all the way to the ear. Okay, this should be straight across. And then this kind of just tapers down. You'll see more when I pull this back. This is just straight. Now, as far as like the muscle structure of the ear butt goes, we'll do that later when it's actually on the deer. I just kind of put these in like a neutral flat position, then I can roll them forward or backwards, and I can move the clay accordingly once the mount is, or once the skin's on the form and I'm actually ready to set ears. But that will come in a couple hours from now when we get to it. Okay, ear butt 1 done. I'm gonna put a little bit more water in there just to keep it pliable while I'm working. Okay. That's one ear. Let's go to the second one. Again, I roll clay up. We just gotta get it in there. This will take some practice too, like everything. Nothing in taxidermy comes easy. It's just about repetitions and patience. And for you people watching that, you know, this is your first deer mount or your first mount you're working on. I'm doing this because I really would like, I'd like you to have success. And I feel like I had to do something about it when I was, you know, on Facebook or whatever, and you got people just bashing mounts from these guys and gals that are just learning, and just kind of pissed me off. It's their first time. You don't need to be so rude about it. Better yet, help them. This is the best way I know how to help. Show you. This is how I learn. I learn by doing things. I don't learn by... Well, I watch them on YouTube first, actually. And then I make my own errors later on. Learn from it. So keep your, just working my clay in. Again, you're just making sure it's a nice smooth transition. And pay attention, because if the hair doesn't sit right, something's wrong. The hair should always sit right. Okay, that's looking really nice. Fold her back. I can tell just by looking at this, I need more from the top to come down to the bottom. So I'll kind of just push it. That's a pretty ugly transition there, so we'll smooth all that out. Push it down. Same with that. And I tend to do this into more of like a ears laid back neutral. It is more like ears laid back neutral rather than like ears forward. I don't mount a lot of anything ears forward. I don't like that look particularly. I don't like the gotcha look. I don't like the I got kicked in the nuts look. I avoid all those looks. But you can find reference photos of all that. You can find that if that's what you're into. It's just not how I want to present my deer. It's not how I want to look at it forever. It's not how I want my friends and family to be looking at their deer, or you. Unless you like that look, then by all means, do the kicked in the nuts look. Okay, so you can take both out if you're wondering, like, how do they look? Are they going to be the same? Is it similar? Take them out and look at them, you know, side by side. It's like, okay, what do I have here? You start with the same amount of clay and you work them the same way, and you end up getting pretty similar ear butts, just like that. It's a pretty simple video, but I like to do my own ear butts. I think, you know, then you can do an ears forward, ears back. You can manipulate them any way you want to when you put the form, or you put the skin on the form and you actually get to mounting the deer. You know, you never really know how it looks like until you get it up there, and you might want to change your mind. And you can do that if you have the ability to. And if you just use the plastic hard ones, you don't. So those are ear butts. This hide is ready to go. Holes are all sewed up. The eyes are all thinned out. Nose is thin. Lips are thinned. Everything's sewed. So now we get to glue in, we get to position in, and we're mounting a deer. So it's go time. Next video, we get fun. Thanks for watching.